Oh, let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies. I am your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, the lovely Kym Kral.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Kym.
Hi, Jay.
How are you?
I'm doing really good.
Yeah?
I'm having a nice day. I'm like 3 wines deep.
3 wines? You said you had a glass of wine.
Well, I lie a lot.
Oh, Kym.
A lot. But also, Jay, like, you have to understand, 3 wines to me is like 1 wine to the average broad.
Oh,
So-
yeah. Okay, fair. You're a tall drink of water for a lady.
Is that a fat joke?
No, you're what? Get out of here!
I'm joking.
So LA of you, just assuming
So LA.
body dysmorphia out the wazoo, right out the top of the podcast.
Right away, that's what I'm doing.
We have quite a week in the box office. This has been a big week. Come to us from Box Office Mojo. A Quiet Place delivers not so quiet $50 million opening.
I haven't seen that. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited.
Have you seen it?
Not yet. I'm in writer room hell right now, so I've got the craziest hours. I haven't been able to see anything.
Do you have Movie Pass?
I do.
Me too.
I love Movie Pass. It's
my
the
God.
best.
But when you're busy, Movie Pass sucks.
I know, but that's the thing.
Because you're like, I'm paying for this thing, but like 3 months I haven't seen. Yeah.
But even that's the thing. Like, if you can make the time to go see one movie a month in LA, the prices are so jacked up, it pays for itself.
It's like
you're good to go.
$16 a month in
10.
LA.
It's $16 if you want to go see one movie
One
for just
movie,
a
but-
general ticket, but
yeah.
$10 a month for Movie Pass, it's a great deal.
That's a great deal.
Movie Pass, sponsor this podcast, please. I don't know why you have not done it yet. We all
my God.
espouse the joys of Movie Pass.
Do Movie Pass or sponsor my life. I don't know. Sponsor something, Movie Pass.
Movie Pass, get your shit together. Anyway, Quiet Place, $50 million. Huge box office numbers. It's getting crazy great reviews.
And also, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt,
Mm-hmm.
like their love story's adorable.
Yeah, they've been married for a little while now. They have, this is their
2
first
kids,
time,
I
2
think.
kids, and this is their first time working on a film together.
Yeah, and do you know the story?
Of Emily Blunt and John Krasinski?
Yeah,
I did not know the story.
He was her biggest fan.
Really?
Before they met. It was like if your crush, your movie crush, you get a little famous and then you get to ask her out.
Ooh.
That's what that was. He was like, I had a huge crush on Emily Blunt. He was the biggest like Devil Wears Prada fan. and then he got to meet her and then she was like, "Oh, nice to meet you." And then he courted her and now they're married.
I like that. That's some old school. That's some old school great shit.
Yeah.
It's not like I feel like there's a lot of stories in LA and movie town of like, oh, these movie stars met on set somewhere and then they started fucking and then they broke up. No, they have like pure. It's
like,
nice.
Yeah, it's like and now they have this movie about
Shit like the apocalypse or something. I haven't seen it
I
yet.
have no idea what it's about. Is it aliens? Why do they have to be quiet?
I don't know. I want to find out. But
I know.
Everybody wanted to find out. They went and go saw it. $50 million. It's huge. Wide release.
Of course it did that much.
Of course, everybody wants to go see it. And this movie was made very well, written and directed by John Krasinski.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like, you know that you see that man, like, for, like, since the beginning of The Office, you see Krasinski and you're like, I wish the best for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to bring football in this. I don't know why. But it's like Aaron Rodgers. Like, you just want well for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, you look at that, John Krasinski, and you're like, I hope life treats you well, man.
And that's the thing. I feel like John Krasinski could have gone the Aaron Rodgers route and wound up in some of those some fucking State Farm commercials or something.
Yeah.
And now guess what? He's the star of a hit horror film.
And he's the star of, like, he's just a good.
And this is the thing. This is the movie that did bigger the debuts than some other very popular horror movies lately, like the Conjuring franchise, the Paranormal Activity franchise. This is huge. This is hopefully going to get him. I mean, he already, I'm sure, had a good following in clout in Hollywood after the success of The Office, but this is like this is a turn. Like, you're a filmmaker now. Like, you have stuff
Especially he wrote and directed that.
Yep.
Oh, he's a filmmaker now.
He's a filmmaker now. And he already made a couple movies that did, and they're very indie features. And this is the first time that it's like, oh shit, something has changed.
He's a person, though, that you're like, good.
Yeah. I want to hang out with John Krasinski.
He's not a cunt.
He's not a cunt.
Is that where our level is, though? Like, the bar is set at,
not a cunt.
you're not a cunt.
Yeah. But that's a pretty high bar to clear when you really think about it. I feel like there's a lot of people who I would look at in a horror movie, and they kind of seem like a cunt.
Yeah.
But John Krasinski doesn't seem like a cunt.
Not a cunt.
John Krasinski, I'll tell you what, I've been seeing billboards everywhere for the new show that Jenna Fisher's on, and she's just making
not
like
a cunt either.
she's not a cunt, but she's making this face on the post on the billboards for the show, and it's just like, okay, they just cast you as like wacky comedy mom. No, John Krasinski's out here doing shit. He's not just wacky comedy dude. Still,
she's not wacky comedy mom. It's Pam.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a different version of Pam.
That
it's just
sucks.
Pam in a different stage of life. This is not Jim in a different stage of life. As far as I know, I haven't seen the movie. Maybe it is. Maybe this is a big Office tie-in all along. We didn't know. He got so great at making faces to the camera.
You can't see me right now, but it's Jim doing Jim faces to the camera.
Just like looking, just being like,
his kid
a
accidentally plays the train too like loudly because they're not supposed to do anything, and then Jim looking at the camera going, brr, brr.
Somebody's bound to do a supercut of Jim like looking. I can't stop calling him Jim now. I got it. He's
Jim.
John. No, he's
Sorry,
John. John. He's a filmmaker. He's a serious
And
Jim
by the way,
Halpert.
Pam, I believe I haven't looked it up, but I believe that she had something to do with this sitcom.
With the new one?
What
is this? We're going to look this up. What's this called?
Please.
This is where we have the power of the internet. Jenna Fisher's new show. She plays some sort of divorcee.
Yeah, well, let's see.
And she showed up. That's the thing. She's not a cunt because she showed up on Jimmy Kimmel wearing a towel because her dress broke.
Oh, I didn't see that. She did that?
This week her dress broke. She was supposed to do a Jimmy Kimmel interview, and her dress broke backstage. So she showed up on stage wearing a towel and jeans.
God, I love that bitch.
Yeah.
I love that cunt.
She ain't no cunt.
Sorry, no, I when I was like 22, I was friends with this Australian girl. Cunt in Australia is like me calling you, hi, friend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
See, these are things I don't know.
Oh, in Australia, cunt is not a bad word. So I've always cunt is like.
We're definitely setting the record for my podcast so far for the most times anybody has said cunt at all.
Should I apologize?
No, don't apologize. I'm
not going to because cunt.
Never apologize. Never apologize for saying the word cunt.
No, Australians.
On this podcast, anyway. You learn from the Australians. They use it. They toss it around like fucking salt.
When we were 22,
Seasoning.
so we were 22 and we're at a club, and we're like these like hot girls at a club and like whatever. And some girl did something to her dress. My Australian friend. This is when we were brand new at life. We were 22.
Right.
She took off her dress, so she just had her bra on, grabbed her drink, threw it in the girl's face, and was like, fuck you, cunt. And we were like, you can't say that, Yvette. And she was like, cunt's not a bad word. And then she explained.
It's no bad word down here.
Yeah,
I call somebody a cunt no matter what I like. But shrimp on the barbie. I don't. That's.
Thank you for using the accent because I don't have one. I just sound like I was like that. Get the goo goo.
Well, listen, I can't do it anymore. I think I've spent my Australian. I'm real delirious and tired right now, so my Australian accent is not as on point. It's not as on point as it should be, right?
I've had 3 glasses of wine, so we're on the same page.
Good. That's good. You know what? That's a good place to keep podcasting from, I think.
There we are. Did you look it up?
I looked it up. I can't find it. It's not Life in Pieces because that's a show that does not star Jenna Fisher. I can't find it. Jenna Fisher, please just show your thing. She's talking about a book that she's done. She's talking about this other thing that she was doing. I can't find it.
Maybe it's not important. Maybe we let it go.
Splitting up together. Here we go.
That's what it is. Yeah. I just got way too excited. I yelled.
You did. You're very excited about Jenna Fisher's new sitcom. I think that's the most excited anyone has been about her new sitcom so far. It's probably going to get canceled after a season. Are you going to watch it?
No. I got stuff to do. I mean, if if it's on, yeah.
Maybe it'll be background noise.
But you're a comedian too. Like, you know that.
Yeah, I mean, I
It
basically
takes a lot of like.
I basically stopped watching sitcoms
We don't
2
find
years
things,
ago.
We don't find things funny the way the normal humans do.
Yeah, for sure. Like I my ability to appreciate comedy has changed in that sometimes I'll laugh at stuff still. Like I'm a pretty easy laugh, but also now I'm like in this place where like you kind of analyze shit.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, is that a good joke? Oh, okay, yeah, and you'll nod and not really laugh, and it's weird.
And
It feels
people-
like the wrong way to watch a sitcom.
And your friends go, "Did you see this comic do this, like his special?" And you're like, "No." And you sound like I feel like I sound like a douchebag, but I'm like, no, I live in Hollywood. I see that comic do things
I see them do
live.
this stuff all the time.
Live. I don't need to watch his.
It's like, okay, I guess.
And then they look at me and they're like, "You've seen him do it," and I'm like, like
And
4
then
or
you're
5
coming off
times.
as bragging, and then
Then I'm
we're
like,
the cunts.
Yeah, then we're the fucking cunts.
Can't handle that.
No,
That's
I don't.
why. That's why I don't talk to anybody outside of Hollywood anymore.
That's why we're in a basement right
That's
now.
why we're in a basement right now at midnight almost on a Sunday.
You're talking about box offices. I want to talk about a movie I saw 2 days ago.
What movie did you see 2 days ago?
I'm going to take a sip of water.
Take a sip.
I was really excited to see this movie.
Which is
Do I expose it right now, or do I
expose
do
it right now.
The
Say it, and then
Strangers.
the Strangers Pray at Night, the new one.
Yeah.
That
All right.
is
Let me.
that
That's
currently
why
currently number 26 at the box office.
I know.
It's only in 249 theaters
Oh, it's
currently.
bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
But can I tell you? Okay, so The Strangers, the first one, that was like 2005, I think.
Yeah, or 2008. This is a 10 years later sequel.
Okay, it was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, 2008, Strangers, ruined my life.
Yeah, why? Because were you afraid to like be in a house alone? Because you
Oh my God. Okay,
thought
I'm
people
letting
with
you know,
masks
like,
were gonna come.
nothing, like, I'm not scared of movies. Like, I love scary movies. I see all of them. I'm not scared of them. I'll watch them alone. I'll go home. I live alone. I'm not scared of them.
Okay.
The Strangers changed how I lived my life.
How? Explain.
Okay, well, it was awful and very scary.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, I lived with. Okay, I'll give you an example.
If you because if you haven't seen The Strangers, just know it's basically a movie where
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Two people. It starts off with a relationship that's sort of in shambles, and this couple has like gone to a house to sort of try and recoup, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go well. And then murderers show up.
And it's not okay. All right, like I want everybody to know I'm not a pussy. Can I say pussy?
Yeah, you can say pussy.
Okay, here we go. I'm not like scared of stuff. Like I watch every scary movie. This one, The Strangers, were like Potato Sack Man had nothing in his eyes.
Yeah, it's dead behind the eyes. They got the
It's-
potato sack man. They got the girl with the China doll
No,
face.
They're fine.
They're fine. You don't like the potato sack guy.
Where he Liv Tyler was the first one. Liv Tyler is standing in front of the sink, like contemplating her relationship.
Yep.
And in the background, I wish you could. He just steps in, and he has a potato sack on his head. And I know that doesn't sound scary,
But it is.
it's so fucking.
You gotta see it.
But that's the thing. Like it's potato sack and Jaws. Those are two things that you cannot negotiate your life with. Hear me out.
I'm listening. I'm hearing you
No,
out.
that's the thing. Like
I am a fan of The Strangers, so I'm with you. It's a
But
scary
you
movie. It's
can't-
fucking terrifying.
they're so okay. Did you see the new one?
No, I did not. So what
Can
changed
I-
between the old one and the new one?
All right. So the new one. Can I give it away?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
We're spoiler friendly.
Okay, good. So the old one, it was like a night of terror, and yeah, we all had our things that were like, oh, okay, we would do this, or this. Basically, we would all just sit in the bathroom with the shotgun and just blow them away.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we would do. They did not do that. But at the end of the first one, the two of them were sitting there. They made it through the night.
Yep.
And those three are sitting there,
They've got him tied up on the chairs.
tied up, and they come in and she's crying hysterically. And that's horrifying. And she goes, Why? And the woman goes, because you were home.
Yeah.
And there's no way that's such a fucked up scenario. There's no way to negotiate with those people. You can't be like, I could give you $1 million. They just want to kill somebody.
That's the scariest part of the whole thing. It's the detachment. And she's like, we're just doing it to do it.
So the second one.
It picks up right after where the first one leaves off, from what I understand.
It doesn't.
No? Okay.
It's just some random thing.
Okay.
And also not based on a true story. If you look both of them up, it's actually what happened. The true story is that some strangers came into a cabin and murdered 4 people and left the baby alive.
Okay.
Which makes them not awful because they left the baby alive.
They left the baby. The baby's not going to remember any of this.
Yeah, but also not the same story.
Right.
That also gave me solace after I saw the movie, and it changed my life. And we could talk about how it changed my life. But the new one, no, it didn't. It was like Christina Hendricks, who is the curvy broad from fucking Mad Men. Yeah.
Yes.
Was the mom, which was super weird. And then another like hot dude was the parents. Way too hot to be a part of it. They were so hot.
Big downside to horror movies when they get people who are too hot.
Well, no, but they were the parents.
It's not believable.
Yeah, and then they had kind of a dorky kid.
Naturally, you gotta.
And then a girl that has cried in every movie as a child. I can't remember who she is, but she's always sobbing in some movie as the daughter. You know her if you see her. She's always like, she's always crying. And she's going to boarding school.
Okay.
So then they're driving her to boarding school. The hot parents, who are way too hot to have them as children,
right,
are driving her to boarding school. The young kid is like way too ugly to be a part of the whole thing.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the downside to having 2 hot people is they make them have ugly kids.
One ugly kid.
Yeah.
And then he's like the baseball player. So they show up to some trailer park that their Uncle Marv owns, but it's like off season. And then she runs off because she's mad about her cell phone or some shit. And then the brother goes and finds her, and then they find dead Uncle Marv. And that's when chaos ensues.
Okay. So this on the face, it already sounds less
interesting.
It sounds interesting, but it sounds like a big departure from the original.
Yeah.
In terms of what is being built.
So then they find the dead uncle and aunt or whatever, and then they go find their parents, and the parents are like, okay. It's just so horror movie. Like, we should all split up right now.
Big mistake.
There's been a murder. We should all go our separate. That's a big mistake.
Yeah.
So the hot dad is like, kid, you're going to stay with me. Hot daughter, go with my hot wife. Go over there. And then they go and they see like the hot dad and the kid go and see dead uncle.
Right.
And then Potato Sack is there with his sledgehammer. And then they find a gun. And they're like, all right, we have a gun.
And they use the gun?
No.
Why do people in horror movies never use guns?
Never.
If they have guns?
They're like, we feel really bad. Actually, the kid was like, we can't use the gun.
What?
And the dad was like, you're right. We should give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, my God.
And then, meanwhile, mom, Christina Hendricks, is getting murdered.
Okay.
While the girl who's supposed to go off to boarding school is like crying, and then she runs away.
She's doing a great job crying. That's her gig.
I'm going to let you know that when I saw this movie, I asked my friend, do you know Jeff May?
I do know Jeff May.
Okay, I asked Jeff May, I was like, will you see this movie with me? Because the first one ruined my life, and I was terrified. So basically, you're going to come see this movie with me, and then you're going to take me home, make sure there's no murderers in my apartment.
Very sweet.
And then maybe sit in my bed while I fall asleep, because that's how scared I was with the first one.
Oh, I understand. This time?
No.
Didn't feel it?
They had guns. Jay Light, they had guns.
You can't feel sympathy for people who have guns and don't use the guns in a horror movie scenario.
No, and they just kept. It was awful. See it.
Oh, we're just gonna let this guy. Maybe we'll let him murder somebody else. He seems like a good dude. He knows how to work a hammer. No, it's a bad call.
There was a moment. There was a pool scene where the boy, was in there, and then the potato sack man with the sledgehammer like chased him in there. And they played Turn Around. Every now and then I get well, he just murdered him in the pool. Sorry, I don't mean.
No, that sounds funny. Laughter sounds like the right reaction to that.
I was so disappointed. And then we're driving home, and Jeff's like, "So do you need me to drive you home?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm good."
Well, if you haven't gotten a chance to go see Strangers Pray at Night yet, don't go see it. I guess it's only in 249 theaters in America.
It's so disappointing.
It doesn't sound good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to go through that. But you know what? Maybe it turns you around. Turn around every then I get a little less scared. There's some other new entrants to the box office this week. Ready Player One's at number 2. It dropped after Quiet Play. I get it. Blockers, new entry, coming in at number 3, which is the movie where they they couldn't say cock blockers on the poster.
Oh, blocker. Okay, they put the cock
the
and
cock.
then
they're like, cock blockers.
Do? I didn't. I
21 million, 21.43 million.
I had no interest in seeing it. I was like, I'll see it when it.
It seems like an HBO kind of movie, but that's the thing. If I was in high school, because everybody's saying it is like it's like a new version of Superbad, right?
Oh, cool.
And I loved Superbad, which
yeah.
is what gives me incentive to maybe go see it. Like it's one of those movies that because I have a movie pass, I might go check out on an afternoon or a morning screening, go see a fucking matinee.
That's what's cool about Movie Pass.
Oh, Movie Pass, please sponsor this podcast.
Sponsor this, dude, because it is about movies, and but it is like a good. I wouldn't see half the movies I see without Movie Pass.
Blocker's doing well, bringing its budget back. Black Panther's still in the top 5 at number 4 this week.
I haven't seen.
You got to see Black Panther.
I have to. I know. I have Movie Pass, and every week I'm like, all right, I think I can do it on Tuesday. I just haven't had time.
It just became the 3rd highest grossing domestic feature film of all time.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
It's amazing. I can only imagine the Christian the Christian biopic about the band Mercy Me coming in at number 5, still making money. Still
I don't know what that
good
is.
Business. Are you familiar with Christian rock bands at all?
No.
I was going to say you don't seem like. I grew up very Christian, so I'm familiar with this band.
No.
But vaguely.
Okay.
This is a band that but they did a song and they tapped into the Christian market. Very smart move on their part. It's still making buku bucks. It's at number 5 in the box office. Good job.
That's amazing. Yeah.
We got a Tyler Perry movie at number 6 with Taraji P. Henson. Did that one.
Tyler Perry. Good
number
for you.
7, new film Chappaquiddick about the Kennedys and somebody drowning in a river.
Jesus.
Yep.
How many movies have there been about the Kennedys?
A lot. I mean, this is probably the Kennedy film canon. There was Jackie Kennedy last year with what's that fucking chick's name? Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
And this is one has some other people in it. I'm probably not. It looks like one of those like boring historical dramas that it's not really my genre. I don't care about going to see it, even with Movie Pass. That's how low the bar is for me.
Wait, let me ask you though, the last person you said, how much money has Tyler Perry made?
Oh, Tyler Perry?
Holy shit. I think
made
he's the richest.
So much money.
He's the richest human.
He's made so much money that he can make whatever movie he wants to. He makes
like the Halloween movie. What's the Halloween movie with the grandma?
Medea Halloween, Boo.
Yeah, he gets to make that movie.
Yeah.
And he's probably having a gas making that movie.
He's made so much money off of the back of dressing like an old black lady. It's very impressive.
Hold on, that's him?
That's him. That's Medea. You didn't know that?
No.
Kym.
I know. You know I don't know pop culture.
I did not know you didn't know pop culture.
I'm terrible at Ken, I run
Ken Gar, yeah. You run a show
I have
with
a radio show with him. He thinks that I'm from Amish country.
Because you don't know pop culture. You didn't know that Tyler Perry was Medea.
No,
Who'd you think it was?
I don't know.
You just thought they got some sassy black lady? No, they got a sassy black man to play a sassy black lady.
I knew it was a man, and I figured it was. I was like, oh, I figure it's some man that I should know, but I don't know. Like, I should know, but I don't know, so I'm not going to ask.
Now you know it's Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's Acrimony. Tyler Perry's
so
Medea.
Many questions.
I don't know if we'll have to talk some of these off air, I think.
Yeah, no, I'll ask some questions off air.
We got Sherlock Gnomes at number 8.
Oh, I love that.
You do?
I didn't see that, but I just love I just love anything that's like plays on words. Sherlock Gnomes.
Would you go see? Well, did you see Romeo and Juliet? This is part of the Romeo and Juliet cinematic
but every
universe.
time I see that, it makes me laugh too. But no, I have no interest in seeing that. I just like
Not even with Movie Pass? Come on, Kim.
It is. I got no.
You're busy. I get it.
I'm busy, but
You're gonna watch Jenna Fisher's sitcom before you're gonna see Sherlock Gnomes.
For sure.
I guarantee it.
I like that, broad.
Yeah.
I mean, I also like Romeo and Juliet. It just I like with Pitch Perfect.
Yep.
I just like clever things like.
You just like that it was called Pitch Perfect.
No, I like that it was last call pitches. I laughed for far longer than I'm proud of.
I can just imagining you driving down the street, seeing clever puns on billboards, being like, and you got to pull over and take a minute.
I mean, I don't have to pull over, but I for sure. Romeo and Juliet. I was like,
it tickles you.
But I won't see it.
Number 9, Pacific Rim Uprising with $4.9 million.
Pacific Rim.
It's a movie about fighting robots. It's a nerd movie.
Yeah.
You go see fighting robots duke it out, punching people, punching robots, punching giant monsters.
Go nerds.
Yeah, nerds.
You nerds.
Love
Good for
some
you.
nerds.
Number 9, what'd you say?
Number 9. And then number 10, new Wes Anderson movie coming in with a little bit more film, Isle of Dogs.
That was number 10?
Climbing up.
Isn't Edward Norton the star voice of it?
He's one of them. The main dog is voiced by Bryan Cranston. Edward Norton's doing a voice. They've got Jeff Goldblum doing a voice.
I feel like they put Edward Norton though in the crust of the
I think so. I think
where they
he's
were
one of the
throwing it out there in the previews.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I think him and Ed Norton, Wes Anderson and Ed Norton have been working together since Moonrise Kingdom, where they knocked it out of the park together on that. And he had a part, I believe, in Grand Budapest Hotel. But that's the thing. Isle of Dogs it's one of those. It's like a Wes Anderson. It's classic Wes Anderson because it starts
only
off
number 10?
Well, because it's only in 550 movie theaters. So it's super low release right now. It's probably going to skyrocket up once it gets. That's my skyrocketing noise when I hit the mic. It's going to skyrocket once it gets into more theaters. I mean, it's already making good money at the small number of movie theaters that it's in.
It's already at 10 when they're at very little number. What's number 1?
Number 1 is A Quiet Place, and number 1 is in 3,500 theaters. It's in wide release. It's almost in as wide release as it can get. The only movie right now that's in wider release is Ready Player One. So
and that's number
2.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
Ready
the
Player
dog
One
movie is gonna explode once it explodes.
I think so. It's the right call. It's Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is animated.
And you saw it?
I saw it. It's good.
Is it good?
It is good.
I mean, I love Edward Norton, so that is the one thing that's made me be like, I might see it.
You should go see it. I recommend it. Go see it with your Movie Pass.
Okay.
I cannot emphasize enough
I'll
how
go on
much
a
Movie
date
Pass.
by myself.
There you go. Take yourself out.
I go on a date that's why I got Movie Pass, because that's how I treat myself.
You're a big go see movies by yourself.
Oh my God,
person.
I hate seeing movies with people.
Me too.
I only saw The Strangers with Jeff May because the last one ruined my life. So I was like, I can't see it alone.
Fair.
And at the end of it, he's like, do you need to hold my hand? I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
What is it about seeing movies by yourself that you like so much? Because it's like a singular experience.
Well, I don't need. I hate seeing movies with humans, other humans.
Why?
I'm a human too,
right?
Because I don't need to look at you and go acknowledge. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was scary. It's like other people need, people who see movies with you need to be like, ha ha ha, that was really funny, right?
Yeah.
They need like I don't need that. I like being. It's a singular experience, like you said. Like I like being in the movie, and it's someone. Okay, I'm trying to explain it.
Well, okay, I got an idea.
You understand what I'm saying?
I got an idea of it
Okay.
because, like, okay, so I went and saw. I usually go see a lot of movies by myself.
You do? Okay.
And I recently saw Annihilation with a group of friends of mine.
Okay.
And they did not like the movie, and I liked the movie. And so they're all talking shit about the movie after we leave, and I'm just they're being quiet, just like, yeah, I kind of like this part. I thought it was good, but I can't voice those opinions when you're with a bunch of other people who didn't like the movie.
Oh, so you feel you don't like seeing movies because of the aftermath experience?
Yes, because then if I like a movie, then I don't want to be the one defending it right after we see it and trying to be like, no, guys, I promise.
See, I like seeing a movie alone because I don't like to, I just don't like, you see a movie with someone, like your significant other.
Right.
And something funny happens. And then you both look at each other and you go, ha, it's funny. I don't need to acknowledge something is funny. Like, even when I have a boyfriend, I'm like, no, I'm good. I like seeing a movie alone.
Yeah.
Not because the aftermath, just during it, I'm like, I cry in there, I laugh in there, and then I leave. And I'm like, and one time I saw a movie with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah?
He was like 3 rows over in the front. It's Collateral Damage, I think it was. Whatever, the Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx.
Collateral, yeah.
Collateral, yeah. He was like 3 feet or 3 rows in front of me, like 2 over. And I was like, oh, he feels the same way. I like to see the movie, and then I go home.
That's what I like to do too. There's something if you're a person who doesn't go see movies by yourself, this is our advocacy. Go do that.
Once.
Treat yourself once, and then you'll be hooked.
The first time I ever did it, I've been in LA 14 years. And so I was like 22 when I first did it. And I was like, okay, everyone tells me, like not everyone, but like my adult friends, my older friends tell me to go see the movies alone. Go see them alone. And I was like, okay, well, the only way I'll do it is if it's scary. Because the first time it's got to be, because it's scary, but it's got to be real scary.
Because it's unnatural.
Yeah. So I went to Kill Bill Volume 2 in Westwood when I was 22 on a Friday night. So it was like college kids, my age, Friday night. And I walked in there and I was super freaked out. And I sat down, watched the movie. Everybody was date night. And then I walked out and I was like, oh, not that scary. Watch movies alone.
They're worth it.
But I had to do it alone, like in the scariest scenario I could like think of.
And then you get it out of the way and then you love it forever.
Oh my God, I barely see movies with people now.
I'm with you.
Except for strangers.
Kym, I got to give you a high five for that. We're going to high five across the table.
Oh, that was good.
I hope that picked up on the audio.
Did it?
I hope so. We'll find out in post. So this is a movie that is now we're going to talk a movie that is not a lovable movie, but it is beloved by many. That is 1997's Titanic.
Yeah.
If you're somehow one of the like 25 people who hasn't seen this movie, here's what you got. 1997 epic romance disaster film written, directed, and co-produced and co-edited by James Cameron. A fictionalized account of the sinking of the RMS Titanic. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet as members of different social classes who fall in love aboard the ship during its ill-fated maiden voyage. Crazy money at the box office. Won Best Picture. $2.187 billion. Almost over 3 hours, excuse me. Totals of box office surprise. Should not have made all this money. And yet has become a beloved movie. And yet, and I'm going to say and yet one more time. Kym Kral, you hate this movie.
I hate this movie.
Why do you hate Titanic?
Did you just say it's over 3 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I remember my family had a VHS copy of it. It's the only one I ever saw that was, besides like muzzy language learning tapes, that had multiple VHSs that you had to pop in.
Hold on. I thought, okay. Full disclosure, I walked out on this movie. So
You walked out on Titanic?
I was 13.
Okay. Elaborate.
First of all, I didn't. What? There's 2 VHSs? I thought when I saw the 2, because my dad had the 2 VHSs. By the way, he died, and I got all of his VHSs, and the one I threw out
was Titanic.
I was like, why the fuck would I ever want that? I thought that it was like you get 2 DVDs.
Nope.
And it's like I have True Romance 2 DVDs. One's like the director's cut and some shit that you'll never watch, but you feel good about having in your home, and then the movie. But 2 VHSs is the movie?
Yeah. It's gnarly.
Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing.
So you walked out. When did you walk out? What was your movie going experience like when you're 13? You're seeing Titanic in theaters.
I'm 13. We go. It's, of course, our parents drop us off. It's like 3 of us watching the movie, and it was just boring and dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was sitting there. I remember I'm sitting there and I'm bored and it's dramatic. I'm bored. It's dramatic. And they're doing the thing where she's laying on the slab of wood that's like big enough for him to be on too. That's kind of a big pop culture thing now.
Yep.
Where they're there and she's like, I'll never let go. I'll never let go. And these 2 girls in front of me, who knows how old they are? I'm 13. They might be 13. They might be 19. They're like, no, Leo. They start crying like excessively and not going, oh, what's his name? What was his name in the movie? Jack, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, no, they weren't going like, no, Jack. They were like, no, Leo. And they're crying. They're like, don't let him die. And then I looked at my friend Natalie and I was like, all right, I had enough, man. I'm going outside. Let me know when this movie ends. And then I leave. Google has since let me know that something about the necklace and the old woman dropped it in the ocean.
Yeah,
that
she
is something
drops it in the ocean.
Britney Spears has kind of let me know that it's in the ocean.
Wait, Britney Spears, how does Britney Spears factor into this?
Oh, you don't know about that? Okay,
No.
so where it's like, oops, I did it again. And you don't know about oops, I did it again?
I mean, I know the song. I
okay,
didn't know
where
that.
it's like, well, Britney, something. And he's like, I brought this for you. And it's supposed to be the necklace from Titanic. And she goes, oh my God, I thought the old lady dropped it into the ocean in the end.
Is
and
this
he goes,
in the music video?
yeah. And then
What?
he goes, well, baby, I went down and got it for you. And she goes, oh, you shouldn't have. And then he goes, oops, I did it. Because she grabs it and leaves him. You don't know that?
What? No.
That's like he went down and got it for her. Because, the whole thing is about how she like leads on men. Not leads on men, but like men love her. And then she's like, oh, we're just friends. So he comes to her. He's in a spacesuit, and she's in her red cat suit. How do you not know this?
I don't watch a lot of Britney Spears music. I watched the toxic music video over and over again, but that's about it.
Over and over again?
She looks great in that music video. That was like,
she looks great in Oops, I Did It Again.
okay. I have to go watch this back.
So we should argue over who should see the end of Titanic or who should see Oops, I Did It Again.
I mean, the beauty of Oops, I Did It Again is I can watch that and the video is over in like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you walk out of
I'm gonna blow
you
my head
still
off.
have another like 15 to 20 minutes that
I'm
you
gonna
need
blow
to watch.
my head off. I have no interest.
Don't do it.
No, they were so like these girls are like, no, Leo, no, and they're sobbing and just it's so dumb. And honestly, like watching the movie, I like the historical aspect of it. Like I think it's cool, like the historical aspect, because that is actually something huge of our history.
Right.
This huge ship that was the biggest ship of all time or whatever.
Yep.
Was the unsinkable thing. The unsinkable Molly Brown is cool. Like there's a museum 10 minutes from where I grew up where we went when I was a Girl Scout. Like I love the history of the Titanic. It's just a really dumb movie.
So tell me about what else you don't like about this movie.
The love story is just very dumb. And it's just I'll never let go. It's just never would happen. Like back in that time, the classes would never. He would never.
They never would have met.
No, and he wouldn't have been able to like infiltrate the rich class.
It's a real star-crossed lover scenario that just feels super forced.
It's so dumb. And they could do, I mean, look, there's another movie that happened that I should feel the same way. So I kind of get the Titanic people who get the Pearl Harbor.
I've never seen Pearl Harbor.
Oh my
I've
God.
seen Titanic, but never Pearl Harbor.
But it's like the same thing where it's like a weird love story that would never happen, but way bad.
What's the love story in Pearl Harbor? Is it between like?
I had a boyfriend at the time when it happened, and when we watched it together, I was laying on the ground at the end of it, like in his living room, sobbing, and he was like, "Can I get you something?" I was like, "I can't do this. This is awful." But Titanic made me want to blow my head off. It was okay. Let me try and remember because I won't see it again.
Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, because it really upset me. But Titanic made me want to kill myself. Pearl Harbor, it was like someone went off, like I think Ben Affleck or Josh Hartnett went off to war.
Okay.
They both went off to war. One of them fell in love. Like one was with, are you going to look this up?
I'm going to look it up, yeah.
I can't remember it because it's been like 15 years since I've seen it. It like really upset me. I'll never see it. Like I'm telling you, I cried for like 2 weeks. Like I cried in front of my boyfriend and then like, for the next 2 weeks, anything that upset me, I was like, man, that movie was really upsetting. It was like so they went off to war together. One of them was in love with the other one. One of them was in love with a girl.
Okay.
And then he died.
Let's see. A nurse named Evelyn meets Rafe, who is played.
That's so
his
bad.
Name played by
it's
Ben
so
Affleck.
Bad.
A nurse. They pass his medical exam despite his dyslexia. They enjoy an evening of dancing in a nightclub and later a jaunt in the New York harbor in a borrowed police boat. And so then they leave the next day and then they go to Pearl Harbor and oh boy.
Okay, so
some
there's
shit
a
goes
twist.
down.
There's a twist where
But it's a twist we know is coming, like in Titanic.
No, you don't know it's coming because one of them dies, and then while he's dying, he looks at the other one and goes,
Oh, like you
take care of my family.
Like you're gonna make a movie about Pearl Harbor without somebody dying at Pearl Harbor.
All right,
you got to see that one coming.
Titanic is really bad.
Titanic is really bad. So let's unpack Titanic. So Titanic, obviously the love story at the core feels fake and it feels really weird and it feels like a series of moments that if it's like
and also by the way,
I'll never let go. I'll never let go and I'm king of the world and them like holding each other on the prow of the ship.
What about this? Ship's about to sink. All right. Let's say you're the rich girl and I'm the dude.
Right.
Ship's about to sink and we're at the bottom of the ship and I'm handcuffed for some reason because there's some dramatic thing that happened that got me handcuffed. Remember Billy Zane handcuffed Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
So I'm handcuffed. I'm the poor boy. You're the rich girl.
Yep.
We just met 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
You think you're so in love with me.
Right, because we fucked in a car.
Yeah.
That means we're in love.
Yeah, because we're all alive in the world and we understand that one fuck doesn't equal we're in love. So I'm handcuffed at the bottom of a basement. Ship's about to go down.
Flood. I'm chest deep in water.
Yeah, and I'm handcuffed.
And you're handcuffed. You're about to perish.
Why do I have my hand up here? Like
because you're handcuffed. You're going deep in.
I'm doing the. I'm
the
doing
act out game on this podcast is very strong.
It's very strong. And so you think you're in love with me, but right now, Jay Light.
As Kate Winslet.
Do you leave me here?
I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
That's like, it's the only option that really makes sense. Like, I don't care how good of that poor boy dick you gave me in the car.
Right?
It's not good enough for me to die.
It's like the horror movie. Like, you know when you're watching a horror movie.
I thought you said horror movie for a second.
When you're watching that slut movie.
When you're watching one of those slut movies where Kate Winslet's just taking it in a Model T.
And you're like, bitch, please. No, you're watching one of those horror movies.
Yep.
And that girl, who you know is going to die.
Mm-hmm.
bitch is gonna die because she's
for
crying
sure.
everywhere, and like everybody has to pull her along, and they're like, you're watching as a fan or whatever, and you're like, let her die.
Yeah.
Move on. Kill her. Move on. That's the moment that you're like, and again, that historical aspect of it was cool. She would have left him. Rich girl would have left him. Nobody falls in love in 2 days. Maybe I'm
No, I think
dead
you're right.
inside.
Nobody falls in love in 2 days. At the core of it, it feels false.
It's so false.
It's just not right. And it's clear that it's just like, okay, we're going to do this so we can drive them escaping from the boat together. It feels cartoonish.
Yes.
Especially the level that Billy Zane hates Leonardo DiCaprio.
Because he only loves Kate Winslet because he's supposed to. He doesn't love that broad.
No,
because
they
at the
probably
end,
got traded away for some fucking land.
And he also leaves her like that.
Yeah.
Without it's
If he can leave her like that, then she should be able to leave Leonardo DiCaprio like
it
that
is
too.
so dumb. I hate that. You know what'd be cool about that movie?
What would be cool?
You know, when you were, I don't know if you watched this when you were a kid during.
No, the only time I ever watched it,
no, I don't mean that. I mean.
Other movie. What other
There
movie?
was like a weird, at the time, I don't know the time of the film, but the time of the Titanic sinking, an actual unsinkable Molly Brown.
Right, which you mentioned.
Yeah, that would have been cool to watch. They had like a brief bit about it, but that woman was real. Molly Brown was real on that. That would have been cool to watch. But some made up character, some poor guy and some rich guy that would have never happened. And then this rich girl, and then she just let him fall to the death of it was just very dumb.
It seems dumb. So
I hated the movie.
I mean, at the core of it, the story.
I never watched the end of it though, so maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, you're not missing a whole lot at the end. That's the thing. She lets him go. Mm-hmm. When we've also this was covered a month ago or so on some late night show, that there was totally enough room for Jack to have been on the boat.
No, it was, do you know Seth Rogen? I think it was Future Man.
Yes.
Futurman, yeah. He did the Futurman, Future Man.
Yeah.
There was a whole show, and then they went into James Cameron's house. James Cameron?
Yeah,
house?
James Cameron, yeah.
House, and it was like a museum, and then a series of James Cameron came down, and there was a big door, and the one guy was laying on it, and he was like, "That's from the Titanic. Only Rose could stay on it.
See?
No
Broke.
one else could be on it. James Cameron said so." And then the guy's laying there. He goes, "There's clearly enough room for 2 people." She's like, "No, James Cameron is a genius. And he says no one can be watch the show."
Right. I'll have to watch the show. But it's like there's so much false shit that happens in this movie. And I get let's talking about James Cameron for a sec. James Cameron, I can't deny that he's an important director. Like, he has made arguably some of the best action movies of all time in the Terminator series. He directed Aliens, which is again very well regarded.
No, he's amazing.
And then Titanic gave him this whole new level of confidence that I don't think someone should be allowed to have.
No.
Because it made the most, at the time, it was the highest grossing movie of all time. He won Best Picture, he won Best Director, he won Best Editing.
Has anything surpassed that?
His next movie it was Avatar.
Oh, God.
But that's the kind of movie that, did you see Avatar?
I did. I liked Avatar, but now I see that we have 5 Avatars coming our way.
Right, and that's the fucking problem, is that James Cameron would not have even thought about making Avatar at all.
Yeah.
If he had Titanic and it had flopped the way everybody thought it was going to. If
Everybody thought Titanic would flop.
Yeah, people thought Titanic
didn't
was
know
going to
that.
fail because it was way over budget. It cost, let's see here, it cost $200 million to make, which is that's already a crazy amount of money for a movie. But at the time,
especially at the time, what, 96?
96, yeah. When it was filmed. And that's the thing, it's it made no sense for this movie to be as successful as it was. And all of a sudden it swept everybody up in this wave of like, oh, it's a human story. It's not a fucking human story.
No.
Any story where someone is that fucking, it's Shakespearean. It's not real. There's a reason why Romeo and Juliet, or Nomeo and Juliet, as we have now learned,
I love
as a
Nomeo and
franchise.
Juliet.
But the reason why Nomeo and Juliet works is because they're two gnomes from different places. They're two gnomes from different gardens, right? And they come together, and that's fun. But we know it's not real because they're fucking lawn
Because they're
gnomes.
fucking gnomes,
Right.
yeah.
These are not gnomes. They're supposed to be people. And you frame it with this story of like, oh, she's a lady who's like, they left the diamond in the heart of the sea, and it's called the heart of the sea, and blah, blah, blah.
But it's also like you create a story in some like a tragedy in history.
Yeah.
Like it's like when somebody eventually, which they probably will do, is create they actually have done, create a love story with 9/11.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
for sure they've already done that.
They've already done that with the guy from Twilight and the girl from Lost.
Yeah.
They did that. But like it's like that, like you watch that and it's like you watch a tragedy in history, and then you make up some sort of nothing that didn't happen. I don't know. I just think it's awful.
Well, and I am totally with you. I think
You didn't like Titanic either?
no, I didn't like Titanic.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing:
We should be blood sisters or something, brothers.
I got a knife. We can cut ourselves after this. The problem that I have in particular with a movie like this is that there's movies that are bad and they're just irredeemably bad. Blech, irredeemably bad. Blech.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about them. This movie could have been good, and I think that if they had only focused on the actual disaster of the Titanic, done some Poseidon adventure shit, done something to make it where they focus, because all of the sequences where they're actually people are escaping from the ship, the shot where the ship is like cracking in half and falls, that's beautiful. That's really cool.
I agree.
But if they didn't clutter up the fucking works with an hour and a half of nonsense love story
Of something that never happened during that
something
time.
that never happened during that time
That would
either.
never happen during that time.
Historically, there's no precedent for something like this to happen.
That kid would have never been at the table at the rich place, that would never happen.
Never would have happened.
And it fucks with, it just makes me mad because it fucks with the history.
It's just, yeah, and there's so much there's a lot of historical people in this movie that are based on as real people. Like Kathy Bates plays Molly Brown, the unsinkable Molly Brown, who is friendly to Jack and lends him a tuxedo when he's invited to dinner in the first class dining saloon.
And by the way, that broad probably would have done that because everything I've read about the unsinkable Molly Brown, she was a human that would do that.
But that's the thing. This is directly pulled from the Wikipedia page.
Okay.
Despite Brown being a real person, James Cameron did not decide to portray her real-life actions. Molly Brown was dubbed the unsinkable Molly Brown by historians because she, with the support of other women, commandeered Lifeboat 6 from quartermaster Robert Hitchens. Now, if they make a movie where Kathy Bates is the star of the movie, and she, as the unsinkable Molly Brown, goes on the story of survival, that's fucking compelling. That's really interesting.
And I want to watch that. Yeah.
It's just,
I didn't know that you didn't like the movie either.
I didn't like the movie. I watched it. I was in a relationship. I'd never seen it before. We watched it.
How old were you when you watched it?
I was like 23.
Oh, for the first time.
For the first time.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what doesn't make any sense?
I was say I'm way older than you.
I mean, yeah.
You saw. Okay, fuck you. I mean, yeah. Wait, how old were you? And you were 23.
I was 23.
What year did you see this?
I saw it 4 years ago.
Oh, so you saw? Okay,
I saw it recently, but I've had no desire to watch it again since then.
No, I haven't seen. I walked out of it.
That's the thing. It's like it's a movie that is too long, too unrealistic, given that it happened about this fantastical like story that happens, that is a true story and historically accurate.
Yeah.
To shoehorn in this other stuff, it doesn't make sense.
And that's what bums me out. I wish they would make. They'll never make another movie about Titanic though, because this
is
did
the definitive
so well.
movie about Titanic.
But it's like they could do so much. There's so many better stories on that ship that happened. Real stories. Unsinkable Molly Brown is just one. I'm sure you could Google right now and find 12 other people that are more interesting than these made up people.
Can I ask you something to to put a button on this?
Of course.
The love story in this movie, unrealistic. Love stories of its ilk in movies, unrealistic, don't always play so well. Now, in film, what do you think is, for you, what is the ideal way to portray a relationship, a love story? What do you think, like, is there a movie that sort of does it does it right for you? Or is it really hard to nail down to your standards?
All right. This is hard to answer. I'm not a human. I'm not a person that doesn't like, I say human. I'm not a human.
We're comics. We're not humans. we're
humans.
Weirdos.
I'm a non-human that, I love stories. But it's hard for, like, my two favorite movies, they're tied and it's weird.
What are they?
Fight Club and Grease 2.
Okay, I've seen Fight Club. I've never seen Grease 2.
How have you not seen Grease 2?
I've never seen Grease.
Yeah, don't see Grease. See Grease 2.
Just Grease 2.
No,
Skip it. You can figure it out.
No
Go to the
one
Wikipedia
agrees
page.
with me. But like in terms of love stories, like I like when ask your question again, because
what about the love story in Fight Club does it for you that the love story in Titanic doesn't?
It's realistic. And it's not even real. I mean, like Marlo and Jack, you saw Fight Club.
Yeah, I've seen Fight Club.
That's not like a love story, but it's a love story where it happened. Like, it's like two people are living their lives like each other. I mean, and they're like, to Marlo, like to Jack, there's two different people, and to Marlo, there's one human. Like, there's a whole thing, but it's like, it's realistic. It's like, oh, we're fucking, and oh, we like each other. And I love at the end, one of my favorite love moments. Maybe that's why I'm a comedian. I had a fucked up childhood, and this is how I feel about love. But I love this moment at the end when they hold hands and he goes, "You met me at a really weird time in my life."
And the buildings are blowing up.
And they're
all
blowing
around
up,
them.
and he like half of his mouth is shot off. Brad Pitt's gone. Like but it's true. It's like
it feels earned.
Yeah, they fell in love.
Or at least they're willing to see where it goes.
After all the shit.
You know, have you ever seen The Graduate?
Yeah, with Hoffman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the way that love story pans out because it works in such a way that it feels kind of fantastical, and you're like, okay. And then the beauty of it is that when they run away from the wedding and they get in the back of that bus and they hold that shot and you realize they see that they fucked up.
This isn't what we thought it was going to be.
And that's what makes that movie great.
And how many times...
That's what makes a love story like that great.
And how many times have you... Like, there's so many times that, like, you get what you... And I don't want to speak for you, but, like, you get what you want.
Right.
You get what you want.
Yeah.
And then you have that Hoffman moment where you're like, oh, I really fought for this.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not meant to be together. What am I...
Titanic doesn't have that.
No. Titanic has a dead kid and an old woman who drops a necklace in the end. It's very stupid and not historic. Like, at least, like, there's in Pearl Harbor. The reason why I brought up Pearl Harbor is because I feel like it has the same thing. Whereas some stupid love story, it just really made me sad when he's like, "You're a father." No, you're a father now. And I was like, he's a father now. My boyfriend at the time was like, are you going to be okay? I don't know what I was going through that week, but like most that really upset me. I haven't seen it since, but most like war movies or most like movies about history have something more than just some idiot. Like, even if there is a love story, it has something more than that. And I'm trying to think of something else that we've seen. Schindler's List. It does not. It doesn't have a love story, but like at least it's
The humanity of it feels earned. And the
yeah.
humanity in this just doesn't feel earned.
Thank you for making.
I'm
that.
with you. I'm here. Kym, thank you so much. This
Thank
has
you.
been, I'm really glad that we can share our hatred of Titanic together.
You and I think are the only ones in the club.
I hope some other people come out of the woodwork. It's okay to hate Titanic, guys.
It is. It's very stupid.
Where can my listeners find your stuff? You have a show. You have a radio show with Ken Gar.
I do have a radio show. It's live Mondays on Dash Comedy. You go to Dash Radio or download the app. It's Dash Radio Comedy Station, where That's Fucked Up with Kym and Ken. Mondays live 9 to 11. And then they re-air it, I believe, Wednesdays 9 to 11.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Find me, Kym Kral, KymKral.com.
And you can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates.
Diet J.
And I'm doing a, what's it called? A roast battle next week. So if you're in LA, come check it out.
are you roasting?
April 17th. I'm roasting Toby Marshanu.
Ooh.
Very smart man, very good comic, and I'm a little scared, but I think it's gonna be fun. I'm very excited.
You're going to do good.
Folks, this has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.
Yeah.